Today we're going to be talking about Team Urameshi from the Hakusho trading card game. It's based around the 5 main characters of the show, such as Yusuke, Kurama, Hiei, Kuwabara, and Genkai, which is the main team that goes to win the tournament. The team pretty much gains 3 spirit instead of 2, and any cards that they would discard from their attacks go to the bottom of the deck. Aside from that, they're also kind of a Swiss Army knife of effects, such as Hiei discards cards, Kuwabara shuffles cards back into your deck, Yusuke gains more power, Genkai is perfect for slot 5, and Kurama is good with Rose Whip. Is it any good? Well, yeah, actually, the team ability is really good. Like, not having to discard any of your hand to go to the discard pile for an attack is really nice because it allows you to place cards on the bottom of your deck. Kuwabara shuffles your deck. Any card that shuffles your deck would be really good as well because it allows you to put those cards back into earlier use or wherever they land in the deck. When it comes to the second ability of the Spirit, that's where the team really shines because 3 Spirit allows you to play cards faster than you would normally be able to. Or it leaves you a Spirit after you play a 4-costing card like Kitty Love, you'll have 2 Spirit over. So being able to play, Kitty Love and then possibly a Burst of Power right afterwards is just fantastic. The pros of it would be that you don't have any really weak characters, and the fact that you get an extra Spirit is really nice. You also have the best 5th character in the entire first set. Like, Genkai is completely amazing. She cost 1 for her first attack, which does a decent amount. Her second attack costs 2, which does even more attack for every item placed onto it. And I think she does something else, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. Cons is that your characters are kind of blah when it comes to doing anything. They're like a Swiss Army knife. They do everything, but they don't do anything fantastic. Like, you're not going to win any wars with the Swiss Army knife. Like, they're there for when you're not fighting, so they can do stuff, but it's a Swiss Army knife. The team is going to have, problems against, everyone, but they're not going to have any clear disadvantage because, well, they're based around the fact that they're the main team. They're not the best, but they can get through whatever challenges put against them. Like, Rikuikai has mill, so they can mill the opponent, and then Kuwabara helps you to stop mill for a while by shuffling cards back in your deck. You have Yusuke, who can also fight Rikuikai when they're more on the defensive side, because he gains power. Genkai does the same thing. If you're running against somebody such as Tagoro, you have Hiei with his hand control. If you're fighting against, they fit into a lot of things they can do. The problem is, since they're so generic and they don't do anything specific to help the team itself, they kind of don't do anything fantastic enough for them to fight against anyone on a huge power either. Like, of course, you might have Hiei to discard against Tagoro, but then there's 4 other characters that don't fight against Tagoro. So when you fight against any team, you're basically fighting as you would in the show. You have the ability to win, but the other team has this stuff they do, and you're not going to have a clear advantage. The deck is, well, there's 2 decks in the first set for Team Urameshi. There's Beatdown, and then there's the generic normal type of deck you can make. For a generic deck, you're going to run around your use of Spirit more than anything else. And each character can have items that fit them, like Genkai has the schoolgirl outfit, which fits her perfectly because it adds to her defense, makes her harder to defeat, and with her ability to gain attack off of each item she has, pretty much like the best thing ever for her. Hiei can have a katana, or if you can get a katana, that is. He could have katanas, or he could just have any item that gives him 2,000 extra attack. Kurama has his Rose Whip, Spirit Ring goes for Yusuke, and Kuwabara has the fantastic Headband of Love, which literally is made for Kuwabara more than anybody else. You'll use cards like Alley Fight for Aikichi, or cards like Kitty Love that use lots of Spirit and be able to abuse them more than anything else. Another card that you're going to want in your deck is the Sacrifice of Life, because for Team Urameshi, it is made more so than anything else. Like, you'll have Team, Tagoro, which will want Sacrifice of Life, but they'll get the discard pile instead of going to the bottom of your deck like they would for Team Urameshi. So those are really, really good cards, and the last one that would work well is Tornado Fist. Tornado Fist gains 1,000 extra attack for each spirit you have, and since Tame Urameshi gains 3 spirit a turn, they're going to have 5,000 for 2, and with Kuwabara rocking those headbands, he's going to get 7,000 for just 2. And that's more than almost everybody else, and later on you'll have like 12,000 attack right with just the headbands, and not the headbands, the Tornado Fist at 10 spirit, because 2,000 already on it. For a beatdown deck, you're going to want to use cards that allow you to gain attack and keep the attack. Like Rash Brawling allows you to keep the attack, and Improvised Weapon allows you to gain 4,000 for any item whatsoever. And that's really, it's 4,000 extra attack. You're going to want to use Ally Fight for Aikichi to gain a decent amount of attack off of your spirit. And lastly, you'll want to use cards like Power Strike and Overwhelming Kill to deal as much damage as possible with an attack. Which you can deal 3 with Power Strike or 4 with Overwhelming Kill, which is just a literal defeat of an opponent. Sacrifice of Life also works great with Ally Fight for Aikichi because you're going to use those as much as you possibly can to deal as much damage as possible, and then you'll have no hand, so you just discard off the top of the deck to use it. Items like Backyard Dummy are nice, but can be discarded, while Spirit Ring will help Yusuke literally all on his own. You might want to save one of those, because, yeah. Rose Whip is expendable for more damage, while Tray Size is also a good item for just literally stopping the opponent from gaining a lot of defense. The last 3 things in the deck that you're going to really want are Dragon of the Darkness Flame, the Power of Love, and Tornado Fist, again. Dragon of the Darkness Flame is great because it does 12,000 damage, and it might cost 4, but you have Sacrifice of Life. So that's literally going to defeat just about any character by dealing them 4 times the damage, especially since you're powering up your characters. The other card, Power of Love, pumps up Kuwabara to a 6,000 attack for just 1, and it becomes good fodder for, any other attack after Kuwabara is gone. And Tornado Fist is nice because it's Tornado Fist, and they pretty much pump you up by 1,000. The deck runs by having any character in any slot except for Genkai. Like, Genkai has to go in the 5th match slot. That's the only place where she becomes really usable. And she's just amazing in the 5th match slot, and you want to have your, trump card there anyway. Cards like Hiei, they can go in any slot. Like, you put them in the first 2 matches or the last 2 matches, and they'll do perfectly fine because he discards cards from the hand, which is a great advantage on early games, and later games when people are trying to, keep really good resources, you're discarding them anyway. Kuwabara can go in the first match slots when you're using all your really great stuff, so he could shuffle it back in, and then in later slots when you're going to need it for, like, the last fight or 2, he goes great there anyway. Kurama can go wherever, because he doesn't have any set place, and Yusuke goes there too. In the first set, the team isn't really the best of teams. They have a nice theme of spirit usage to gain an advantage through it, but the characters, they're just separate pieces to a whole. They don't do anything except for just make the team. And in later sets, they're going to do way better because they're going to make actual cards that base itself off of Team Urameshi instead of off of the characters. They're not better than any of the greater teams, but they're not worse than Meisho or Ichigaki, especially not Meisho, because that's just the worst team ever. But yeah, the extra spirit and the not having to discard all your cards really makes the team something that is just going to be great forever.